Well, I'm the producer in Northampton of the production. So my role really is to organise the production. So I make sure everybody knows what they're doing, where they need to be, when, that they've got somebody to go to. So if they're having any kind of problems or questions or things, they can come and talk to me about it. I'm planning the timeline to make sure everything happens on time that needs to happen to get the show up. And I'm in charge of making sure that we don't spend too much money. So I need to watch the budget and make sure that we're only spending as much as we've budgeted to make the show. Those are probably the most important parts of my job. I was always interested in theatre, like from when I was at school. So when I was in high school, I was always sort of writing and directing plays with my friends and making them do things. I studied drama at university, and I also did an MA degree in theatre after that. And just sort of worked around, did lots of sort of short and temporary contracts at different theatres until I sort of got longer jobs, really. The first thing I think about is who wants to see this show. So what I really need to think about is who is the audience that wants to see the production, what's going to make them spend their hard-earned money to come and see the show. Because obviously, if we're making the show, we want people to enjoy it. We want to do something that people are keen to see. And you want to think about like who in our local area is around, comes to the theatre, and what might they want to watch. And obviously, the more people want to come and watch it and buy a ticket, the more money I've got to pay people and buy stuff to make the show. So, you know, it always starts with like, who's the audience and what do they want? I think it's going to be really cool to see the mishmash between the sort of Victorian Dickens world and the modern teenagers world. So you've got these kind of Dickens characters floating around in this like really modern school with a load of you know, modern young people who are making a lot of 2022 style music. So I think that kind of contrast is going to be very cool to see on stage. So in the book, it's really easy because you turn the page and suddenly we're in Dickens' London, and then you turn the page again and suddenly we're at Shona's school. And obviously on stage we need to find a way to transform that and kind of bring those Dickens characters into the school. And so I was interested in how we're going to make that happen, but I think Frankie, the designer, has found some good solutions for that. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think when you come in and you see the set, it will feel like your school. Like it really just does feel like a very regular school, and then suddenly all this stuff just happens in it. So I hope people are going to find that really cool. Well, I think it's a really interesting story. I mean, Unexpected Twist, Oliver Twist basically is a story about how tricky it is to be a young person in a time when like you're not getting a lot of support and you can feel very on your own sometimes, and that story of how Oliver does find people who are able to help and support him in the growing and changing that he needs to do, but it is hard because like the world's not very on his side. And I do think in the 2020s it is quite easy as a young person to feel like maybe the world is not on your side very much at the moment. I think we live in a sort of public and social policy world where people don't think about young people that much and what they need maybe. And so I hope the story of how Shona kind of finds support despite that is a helpful story. I mean, I think if you're into producing, you know, sort of maths and accounting type subjects honestly are like the heart of what I do. So I think actually studying sort of math type things to get into producing is really helpful. Partly because it helps you with the money side, but also like when you get a little bit older and you can study economics. Economics is something that feeds a lot into what I do because it's the study of how you take what you've got and make the most that you can out of it. And that can be about time. People always think it's about money, but it doesn't have to be. It can be about time. It can be about how many people you've got working, all that kind of thing. So like those kinds of studies, honestly, although I did study drama, in a way are almost more useful if you fancy my job. The best moments of my job are that minute before the first show goes on, when the lights go down and the audience sort of sees the whole thing for the first time and they sort of go, "Ah," you know, and that's a lovely feeling when you've helped to make that happen. The worst moments of my job are when we haven't got enough money for something we really want to do. I'm trying to find a way to make it happen and I can't. Or when we're trying to find a particular person with like a particular skill, like it might be we really, really need a Polish juggler for this show or something, and like you're looking everywhere and you just can't find that person, because that happens sometimes too. So it's when you're sort of going, I'm trying to make the show happen, but it's so hard to find what we need. I mean, you usually find a way through, but those are the hard moments. So here is a creative producing challenge for you. Think about your school play and imagine that you've got enough money to either give everybody one spare costume so that they can wear 2 costumes in the show, or you've got enough money to put some cool neon lights around the set for your show, or you've got enough money to get some video projected onto the wall of the set of your show. So you can either have 2 costumes per person instead of 1, or you can have some cool neon lighting, or you can have some video projection, but you've only got enough cash for one of those things. What would you pick? Because that's the kind of choice that I generally have to make every day.